fuel prices have continued to skyrocket. Currently, a litre of petrol goes between 6,000 to 6,400, while diesel between 5,900 to 6,250 shillings at various fuel pumps across the country.
So our people have difficulties with accessing, medical care because they have to use the border transport.
The country, we are able to know at any point in time the volumes of petroleum supply that we have in the country. How far has the ministry gone with digitizing that information so that on a daily basis we know how much fuel we have in the country?
The Minister of State for Minerals, Peter Lukoma, has addressed Parliament on government's approach to arrest the fears of fuel crisis by maintaining a smooth supply chain. Minister Lukoma notes that among the actions is to allow the market forces of demand and supply to continue determining the prices of fuel relating to the constraints brought by Russia-Ukraine war and post-COVID-19 effects, among others. The legislators think otherwise, arguing that government can control the prices.
A high demand for ships, yet during the lockdown, business was slow and new ships were not being manufactured. No. How come that we can have in Kampala, fuel is 7,000. In Mbale, fuel is 5,500. In Soroti, fuel is 6,000.
Government is to continue with consultations with various stakeholders in Kenya to keep the supply route of fuel active. Minister Lukoma asserts that Mahati Africa-Uganda Limited has advanced a system of supplying through Lake Victoria after it secured a storage facility of 72 million litre capacity.
Assembling of the first batch with capacity of 4.5 million litres has also been completed and is ready to transport the fuel.
Please make sure you economize. President Museveni told us to economize. So all ministers, including members of parliament, we should start now economizing fuel.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, asked the Committee of Energy and Natural Resources to pick up the matter and guide accordingly in a period of 1 week.
It might be not satisfactory for us to only have the minister here. He needs a backup. What we need are clear answers. And some of them are held by technical people. Then also the leader of opposition and shadow minister for energy will go and give alternatives when they are prepared. And then the committee will bring a report which we shall discuss here. We shall give it enough time.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
I'm giving him some information just on this particular.
The Parliamentary Committee on Finance has started investigations into government proposals to buy shares in Rocco Construction Company worth 200 billion Ugandan shillings. The committee interfaced with Rocco Construction Limited officials led by the managing director Mark Koila, who insisted that once okayed, the investment will be premised in a win-win deal, given the fact that government of Uganda will be entitled to a dividend of 4.3% per value of preference shares. However, members of the committee are wondering why the company opted for selling preference shares to government instead of going other options like UDB or stock market to strengthen its liquidity levels.
While appearing before the Committee of Finance of a government proposal to buy 150,000 preference shares worth 200 billion, Rocco Construction Company officials led by the MD Mark Koila told members of the committee that it's an exciting investment to have government of Uganda on board. According to Rocco, it's a win-win investment because government will be entitled to dividend of 4.3% per value of preference shares.
In any way that there is a deferred obligation we have to government by way of 1, the dividend, 2, when we redeem the shares, and therefore could be classified in very conventional terms as a form of borrowing. But it's not a borrowing, it's an investment which has a guaranteed return, and the return is premised on what would ordinarily be a good return.
However, MPs got worried as to why government wants to buy these shares, yet they will be excluded from decision-making organ, and also why the company opts to sell preference shares to government, yet they could have gone for other options like UDB.
Ordinarily, we have UDB. Would you be comfortable if we give this money to UDB to onward lending to you direct?
MPs also questioned the company officials why they do not have a letter of undertaking asking government to buy shares in their company. Botambala MP Mwanga Chivumbi says they've also found out that the law that governs the company does not allow it to sell shares, making them wonder the law they are applying to strike the transaction.
If you have not amended these articles of incorporation, those provisions, those are superfluous. They literally make no meaning, because the original document, you will say you cannot even you are not even permitted to even buy to receive shares. So that's why we asked you at the very beginning that do you have the resolution?
So even the discussion should be premised on that resolution. So mine, Chair, is it procedurally right for this meeting to proceed before we get the resolution?
Shamim Naiga and Gloria Gutabinji, Parliament.
Now, Cabinet has approved 135 billion shillings to buy relief food for at least 3 months and seedlings to the farmers in Karamoja. The revelation made by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja to the House comes on the heels of complaints by members of Parliament from Karamoja over alleged deaths of Karamoja due to hunger and famine. Let's hear more from Susan Nwanga.
Higgs and I believe that Uganda can manage to feed starving Ugandans.
Our people in Karamoja are our fellow Ugandans.
For over 3 months now, there have been reports of death in Karamoja associated to hunger. MPs from Karamoja sub-region have raised the matter on the floor of Parliament several times, but with less attention to attract swift intervention. However, Napak woman member of Parliament, Faith Nakut, made another attempt on the floor of Parliament this afternoon, giving statistics of the lives that have so far succumbed to hunger, totaling to over 300 in a spate of 3 months.
Last week, by Friday, documented deaths in Napak that had been verified were 46. In Kabong, there were 189. In Moroto, there were 45. In Kotido, they exceeded 300.
MPs hailing from Karamoja region say the emergency relief food that government sent to Karamoja 3 months ago was not sufficient to cover the affected homesteads. With these disturbing figures of lives lost, they have called upon government to act swiftly, but also involve them in the planning process to avert the situation.
There are issues of procedures, of meetings, of discussions. Those can wait. Others can be handled as food is being transported home. The urgency is real, so any delay means lives lost.
The problem I see, and as part of the leadership of Karamoja, is lack of participation or agreement between the government and some of the leaders. They need to listen to us and they need to take advice from us.
In response, the leader of government business, Robina Nabanja, confirmed that Cabinet committed an approval of 135 billion as a relief fund for Karamoja.
That the Minister of Finance comes up with a budget, 135 billion, to provide food for our brothers and sisters in Karamoja for at least 3 months.
She also told the House that over 200 metric tons of food relief have been sent to Karamoja and only awaits distribution.
Listen, colleagues.
They directed the Prime Minister's office to provide immediately food, and I want to assure you, colleagues, that some food has gone. Over 200 metric tons of food has now left the Prime Minister's stores to Karamoja.
Karamoja region remains one of the regions with high levels of malnutrition caused by hunger. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
As we determine cows affect the leader of government business in Parliament, Robina Nabanja has upheld the action taken by Permanent Secretary and Secretary to Treasury, that is Dr. Ramadan Gobi, to fire 110 chief administrative officers on account of failing to submit their budget expenditures for the last financial year, and that made it pending advancement to the first quarter of the current financial year. Now, speaking on the floor of Parliament, Nabanja told the House that the action was timely to solve routine incompetence. As we hear more from Susan.
Speaker, if we don't crack whips, some of these people are failing the government.
Over 100 local government accounting officers last week had their contracts terminated over alleged incompetence. In a letter dated 7th July 2022 as a notice of cancellation of appointment of 110 local government accounting officers over failure to submit their approved budget estimates, work plans, procurement plans and performance contracts for financial year 2022-2023 on a time. Out of the 110 accounting officers included those from the cities of Arua, Fort Portal City, Gulu City, Hoima City, Lira City and Masaka City. This also included Kasese Municipal Council, Nansana Municipality, Arua District, Gulu District, Iganga District, Karenga District, Mpiji District and Palisa District.
Of Finance, together with the Minister of Local Government, to come and explain in detail, having studied these two letters, the circumstances concerning and surrounding local governments that can lead to cancellation of the accounting officers.
Thank you.
During today's plenary sitting, a section of members faulted the ministry for failing to resolve the matter with individual accounting officers.
Wonder now how the government programs is going to run. But at the same time, it is important to listen and find out where there were delays to meet the Public Finance Management Act requirements.
In response to the concerns, the leader of government business, Robina Nabanja, upheld the action of the PSST Ramadan Gobi to terminate the services of embattled 110 accounting officers on account of incompetence.
Some of these accounting officers did not abide by the law, and that the PSST had to crack a whip.
Notably, a meeting has been scheduled to handle issues of individual accounting officers case by case, but echoed that no habitual incompetence will be tolerated.
Today we had a meeting. We are going to handle case by case, and those that we find are still relevant will remain. But there are those who have made it a habit every year, year in, year out.
Worth recalling is that upon his appointment as PSST, Ramadan Gobi continuously sounded warnings to all accounting officers allegedly sleeping on job. In another development, MPs have attributed the gruesome murder of Buko District Accounting Officer Charles Robert Ogwang to alleged disputes and hatred among district leaders.
This local government, the cows and the district chairpersons are in loggerheads.
Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
Thank you very much there, Susan Nawanga, for a detailed parliamentary update there. Now, moving on, the fast consignment of vehicles to boost the security of judges was today handed over to the Judiciary by the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja. The ceremony took place at the High Court of Uganda here in Kampala. Let's hear more.
Procurement of these security vehicles follow the need to secure the entire judicial establishment, and particularly the judges. Today, 4 security vehicles were handed over to the Judiciary out of the 11 planned vehicles.
On behalf of the President, let me hand over 4 vehicles, police troops, police pickups for the judges. And I believe these vehicles will help us to secure the judges and their families. We need secure people. We need security for our judges. And this is a directive by the President.
The remaining 6 security vehicles will be handed over this Friday. Bijirimana assured the Prime Minister that the vehicles will be delivered.
For your timely intervention and to thank you, to thank His Excellency the President through you, that these vehicles are going to help us to provide required security for our judges. So we promise to keep these vehicles very safe and use them for the purpose they have been given to us.
Present at the handover ceremony was the Acting Director, Logistics and Engineering of the Uganda Police Force Senior Commissioner of Police, Richard Ediego, among others. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
As we end our first segment, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development is seeking to table the Uganda Land Commission Amendment Bill, and Land Minister Judith Nabakuba told UBC that when enacted into law, it will streamline and guideline the operations of the Commission.
We have a meeting which is coming up in November. A meeting for ministers for the regional center for mapping of resources for development.
The Lands Minister Judith Nabakuba has highlighted to us some of this year's financial year ministry undertakings.
Having Uganda Land Commission bill, the principles were developed, people discussed it, but we are yet to take it to cabinet. We feel that the bill will operationalize the provisions of the Constitution. Uganda Land Commission needs a law that will guide its operations and management. Right now, they only depend on the Constitution. And that's why maybe we are facing some of the challenges we are facing in ULC. We believe that once the bill is tabled and every aspect of Uganda Land Commission and government land management is catered for in that bill.
She is confident that this will go a long way in as far as offering credible, timely and convenient services to Ugandans.
Inside the ministry, we are also trying to clean up for the errant officers. We discipline them. We usually refer them to the PS for disciplinary action. But also those who may be caught up doing acts of indiscipline or criminality, the different arms of government, we can forward them either to IGG, police, or State House Anti-Corruption.
She has been summarizing her 1 year of office as the Lands Minister since her appointment in July last year.
Of course, you remember we came up at a time when evictions were the talk of the day, every day. You would not go on TV and miss stories on eviction. But as we speak now, stories are reducing on the media. They are still there, but they have reduced. And I would want to thank the team I've worked with, because we had to move in aggressively to make sure that at least we are there for the voiceless.
However, the limited resource envelope is still the limit to the ministry's operations.
And land, I think, is one of the least funded ministries. We could be having those bigger plans, but achieving them has to be done over time.
For the past 10 years, the Ministry of Lands has been at the spotlight over the increasing cases of corruption and watching over as hundreds face fraudulent and forceful evictions across the country. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode super easy.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using 2 Gabonais. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
Are you a young entrepreneur aged 18 to 35 with a startup that is looking for technical, business support, access to international markets, and direct financial support? Hive Collab in partnership with Cosme, ITC, and Moit and Anita Uganda is implementing the Youth Startup Academy in Uganda, YSAU, that will drive growth and scale globalization of Uganda's emerging youth startups. The YSAU is starting up manufacturing and makerspace facilities, mobile app testing and computer labs, and co-working spaces that will provide early-stage startups with access to all equipment they need to build their minimum viable product, access to local and international expert coaches, and more. Applications close on 15th of July. To learn more and apply, visit ysa.hivecollab.org or call 0774 555 999.
National Council for Higher Education will hold the 4th Annual Higher Education Conference on the 14th and 15th September 2022. The conference theme is Enhancement of Teaching, Learning and Assessment with Ordeal in Higher Education. The guest of honor will be the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni. The conference will be held physically at Hotel Africana for only invited guests and open to online participants via Zoom webinar that will be shared under the events section at www.unche.or.ug. The keynote speakers are Ezra Nazim, Senior Fellow of Higher Education Academy UK, Professor Henk Gerald Sola, a Dutch organizational theorist and Emeritus Professor of Business, Engineering and ICT at Groningen University, the Netherlands. The National Council for Higher Education is receiving papers from researchers and scholars for publication in the Uganda Higher Education Review, Journal of National Council for Higher Education. For more details, send inquiries to cmuhumuza@unche.org. info@unche.or.ug or call 0783 04 0024 or 0704 80 0926. +256 39 32 62 140/4.
The Oil and Gas Moment, brought to you by Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. Uganda's oil and gas resources are located within pristine environments. The oil and gas activities are benchmarked on Uganda's updated environment legislation and on the international best practice standards in order to continuously ensure coexistence between the oil activities and Uganda's rich biodiversity. This is being achieved using improved technology to reduce environmental footprint, mapping of sensitive ecological features for avoidance, improving standards of waste management, and development and implementation of tools for environment management. These include the Albertine Graben Environment Monitoring Plan, Strategic Environmental Assessment, various environmental sensitivity atlases, and the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan, among others. For more information, visit www.pau.go.ug. Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
In our next segment, the Minister for Internal Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa, Dr. Naledi Mpanda, together with the State Minister for Sports in Uganda, Dennis Hamson Obua, have unveiled the monument of Mandela at Mandela National Stadium in Nambole.
Was constructed in 1997 with a seating capacity of 50,000. It was named after the Pan-Africanist and apartheid icon Nelson Mandela. The South African Minister for International Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Mpanda, and Uganda's State Minister for Sports, Dennis Hamson Obua, have unveiled the Mandela Monument at the stadium in Nambole.
So we are going to cut in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I believe very firmly that this statue is a fitting tribute to strong fraternal relations between South Africa and Uganda. Relations that go back to the days of the liberation struggle, as we call it, the struggle for freedom, the struggle against colonialism.
Dr. Naledi held Uganda's cooperation with South Africa and honoring Nelson Mandela, the icon of Pan-Africanism.
So this is a very, very critical history which we need to recognize and use as one of the social mobilization, social cohesion instruments of the unity that we must have on the African continent.
The Minister of State for Sports, Dennis Hamson Obua, said the monument is significant to the people of Uganda and the people of South Africa.
We are all aware that the two countries believe in the ideals of the Pan-African movement. That is why the stadium was named after Nelson Mandela. The two countries believe in the Ubuntu philosophy, I am because we are, and this particular stadium signifies the great cooperation between the two parties of Republic of South Africa and Uganda.
Jane Nyuramcha reporting for UBC.
Now, traffic police have registered 328 accidents in the first week of July, claiming 89 lives, leaving hundreds hospitalized.
During that month, a total of 1,825 accidents occurred, and out of these, 321 accidents were fatal, 995 accidents were serious, and 509 were minor. The victims of those accidents of June, there were 1,512 accident victims during that period, and out of these, 366 people died and 1,146 sustained injuries. On this note, we remind all drivers that it will be only those with competent driving licenses to drive on the roads in this country. If you don't have a driving license, don't drive the car on the road. The testing of buses and lorries has already commenced at the IOV headquarters. We remind whoever wants that class to visit the same place. All vehicle owners are reminded to check the EPS status of their cars, clear all the outstanding EPS tickets since the operations are on, renew the driving licenses of your cars, and ensure that you have a valid third-party insurance on your vehicle before you put it on the road. All drivers are reminded to drive within the prescribed speed so that in case of any eventuality, you are able to control that vehicle. We have realized that people don't take it serious when it comes to the issue of transferring ownership of vehicles. Therefore, it's a reminder to all vehicle owners to ensure that the right records reflect at all times. We have realized that people don't take it serious when it comes to the issue of transferring ownership of vehicles. Therefore, it's a reminder to all vehicle owners to ensure that the right records reflect at all times.
Now, as we continue in our next piece, President South African Minister discussed cooperation, and this is the Presidential Press Unit, where President Yoweri Museveni has this afternoon met and held discussions with the South African Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Honorable Dr. Naledi Pandor. They accompanied by the South African High Commission in Uganda, His Excellency Lulu Zingwana. Minister Naledi called on the President today, Tuesday, at State House Entebbe. The South African Minister of International Relations and Cooperation also brought a special message to the President from His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. President Yoweri Museveni commended the active cooperation that exists between the two brotherly countries of Uganda and South Africa. He adds that if African countries work together, they will develop the continent. The President said, however, that such companies like MTN, Stanbic, etc. should widen their scope and also go into the agro-processing mineral processes. Giving the example of Libya, President Museveni said that if Africa had cooperated in unity, Gaddafi would not have been thrown out. Mr. Museveni appealed to the South African businessmen and investors through the minister to come in and invest in Uganda. He said Uganda is peaceful and a very conducive environment to do profitable business. The South African Minister for International Relations and Cooperation, Honorable Dr. Naledi Pandor, thanked President Museveni for according her and her delegation the opportunity to discuss cooperation between Uganda and South Africa. Honorable Dr. Naledi Pandor revealed that Uganda and South Africa are initiating a program to cooperate in different fields like legal assistance, agriculture, tourism, among others. Dr. Naledi said that South Africa and Uganda can play an important role in uniting Africa, as she believes in Uganda and President Museveni and President Ramaphosa to silence the guns and have peace in Africa. The minister, the State Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Kelo Oriem, revealed that Honorable Dr. Naledi Pandor unveiled the Nelson Mandela statue in Nambole today. The South African High Commission to Uganda, His Excellency Lulu Xingwana, State Minister of Foreign Affairs of Uganda, that is Honorable Keloriem, among others, all attended the meeting.
We could attract them. Even MTN, when they came, that's what I told them. I said, okay, you have come, you are in the telephone sector, but there are bigger sectors like the agro-processing, like minerals, beneficiation, like so when Mzee Mandela was there,
well, and those are some of the pictures that transpired there as President of South Africa had that cooperation discussion. Now, moving on, the National Unity Platform has unveiled its new acquired land on which the administration premises will sit and serve as the party headquarters. This was witnessed at the groundbreaking ceremony of the new establishment of the National Unity Platform headquarters in Makerere, Kavuli.
National Unity Platform, in a groundbreaking ceremony, has unveiled its acquired land, which will serve as their new headquarters after the erection of the state-of-the-art administration premises. The party leadership believes their new home is a symbol of belonging and firmness, which they claim explains their transformation from a movement to a structured party in the modern multi-party politics.
Sense of permanence is here with us today, this action. Whoever had any doubt as to our intentions as a party, I think the witches and naysayers can now go to
Now over to Karamoja. The minerals geo-survey in Karamoja sub-region will resume in August this year. The resumption of this survey followed the killing of 3 geologists and 2 soldiers in the Lotisan sub-county in Moroto district while conducting mineral surveys on March 21st, 2022 that halted the exercise. But the security officials in Karamoja urged the geologists to inform them about their presence in advance for protection.
In 2006, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, through the Directorate of Geological Survey and Mines, started undertaking an airborne survey of Uganda to collect geochemical and geology data of Uganda. During this time, Karamoja sub-region was left out due to insecurity and insufficient funding. In 2020, the government of Uganda secured a grant from the Spanish government and contracted Excalibur Airborne Geophysical Survey to collect airborne data from Karamoja sub-region for 3 years. But the project was stopped in March this year after the murder of 3 geologists and 2 UPDF soldiers. A joint security framework meeting on airborne geophysical surveying, Uganda has sat in Karamoja to discuss about the security of geologists and aircrafts. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Irene Pauline Batebe, and Project Coordinator, Airborne Geophysical Survey in Karamoja, Dr. Isaiah Tumwikirize, explains more.
Security remains very paramount to ensure we are able to maintain this kind of support in terms of funding, but also we are able to conclude this assignment to enable us package the project for promotion.
Need is how shall we work to ensure these things which have happened don't happen again.
According to Dr. Tumwikirize, the mineral surveys are to resume in August this year after it was stopped. It followed the death of 3 geologists who were on duty.
We are seeking your solidarity that will enable us to finish the work. And the work is already defined in that booklet. We are remaining with geological survey. We are remaining with geochemical survey. We are also working with the geothermal resource base. Karamoja has the geothermal potential, as the minister has mentioned. It has the oil potential.
The State Minister for Minerals, Peter Lokaris, said it is not easy to train geologists since it takes many years to train them.
Come and kill such a person. It is difficult to replace, to fight such groups which are disruptive. When to disrupt our development, you cannot accept. And good, we are all here. When we go there, down to our places, we disseminate information downwards.
The State Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Agnes Nandutu, urged leaders to embrace the project.
It's a foundation for the industrialization of Karamoja region, and we should welcome it as Karamoja. So I am asking the leaders to embrace this and assure these people of security.
We have not yet reached at the end of the tunnel to see what is there, so let us protect them, assure them that we are going to work with them as leaders. We mobilize our people, we sensitize our people. This activity is going on from government.
However, the 3rd Division Deputy Commander, Brigadier General David Mugisha, urged geologists to inform security in advance for protection.
Brands and other investors, including government survey missions, our military researchers are alert and at call to provide security to investors in the sub-region. What we want and what we request from the investors is that they inform us in time, we prepare.
Meanwhile, residents say there is need to engage the communities on mineral explorations. Leaders say proper deployment, stopping land registration in mineral areas will smoothen the geo-surveys.
The community was not consulted. The geologists just went there on their own to do the work without working with the local people who understand the environment. So let's have the local content in the management or implementation of this program. And the people are aware that this exercise is going to resume to avoid instances like what happened in Rupa, because I'm told the killing was attributed to land grabbing.
The meeting was held in Moroto District, attended by State Ministers for Minerals Peter Lokaris, State Minister for Karamoja Affairs Agnes Nandutu, officials from the Ministry of Energy, Security, the RDCs, and leaders from Karamoja Sub-Region and Lamo District.
In the area of anti-corruption, the accused legal team and the Tropical Bank scandal of 1 billion Ugandan shillings has raised concerns against heads of the bank for hiding necessary documents showing how the alleged money was withdrawn from the bank account. This was raised during a pre-trial anti-corruption court where prosecution availed court with all exhibits and other evidence to intend to try and relay against the accused.
Accused persons in the Tropical Bank shillings 1 billion scandal include Kagwa Michael Sales Officer, Angonyo Brian Service Officer, Nachanzi Aisha Katongole Senior Compliance Officer, Imran Shadik Hussein Branch Operations Officer, Baija Sala Kachamye Branch Operations Supervisor, Wamunene Abduraziz Branch Manager, Nyabunyero Abdu Operations Branch Manager, and Zainabu Ntalo Chief Tailor. Prosecution alleges that in November 2021, at Tropical Bank Kampala branch, the 8 conspired to defraud their employer when they illegally processed of 1 billion Ugandan shillings payment to Nabona Margaret, who possessed as a widow to the living Libyan diplomat Abdurazak without following bank procedures.
The 8 appeared before Magistrate Sala Asiro of Anti-Corruption for pre-trial. Prosecution led by David Mugamba presented to court over 30 exhibits.
Is a grant of letters of administration to a one Nabona Margaret, a document showing a list of documents submitted by Nabona Margaret to Mbarara High Court for the grant of letters of administration.
The defense legal team raised concern to some of the vital documents, which they claim prosecution is hiding from court.
Different emails of approval of different stages of cash payments and internal communications from different department heads, and therefore to provide them to us by the prosecutor will be to save court's time.
The required documents in possession of bank heads include email posts authorizing the transaction and documents showing how the money was withdrawn.
There were documents that were signed between the bank officials with some people that we think are not on the charge sheet. For example, the lady who received the money, the lawyer that signed on behalf of that lady. So we're questioning court, why are these innocent souls, Ugandans, youth suffering?
Because I'm at the end point of this whole thing, apprehending my signature on something that was already input in the system by our legal department, compliance. I am a nobody in the whole process.
Magistrate Joani Asiro ordered prosecution to write to the bank heads to avail defense with alleged documents before 12 August 2021.
The prosecution has always been making applications, applying for this, applying for the bank to disclose this, applying for statements, applying for etc. That one can be applied for.
Meanwhile, Court of Appeal has quashed Jinja High Court decision and upheld NRM Zidi Isabiye's victory as the duly elected member of Parliament for Bunya County South constituency. Justices of Court of Appeal, Richard Butera, Helen Obran, Catherine Bamgemeleire, allowed Idi Isabiye's appeal against Robert Ntende. Judge Susan Obinyo presided over the matter in High Court, Jinja, and ordered for by-election. Deborah Namamonde, Susan Nabugude, UBC News.
Yes, my lord, I only want to call.
State Minister for Primary Health Care, Margaret Mohanga Mugisha, has commissioned the Health Emergency Operations Center at Fort Portal Referral Hospital. The center by Baylor, Uganda, will ease health-related information flow on epidemic outbreaks in Rwenzori region.
This operation center was commissioned by State Minister for Primary Health Care, Margaret Mohanga Mugisha, a team from Baylor, Uganda, and Center for Disease Control.
It's my honor to unveil the Fort Portal Regional Public Health Emergency Operations Center today, the 11th of July 2022. Wow.
The center is command and control point for easy coordination of information on public health in case of epidemic outbreaks.
It's high-tech, so information will be transmitted to the people responsible very fast, and then people evacuated from these villages and from border points wherever we shall be able to detect the diseases from.
Health-related information, it is analyzed, it is processed, and then shared out as information for action. It provides us the evidence that we need to act on, so that we act locally.
With Rwenzori bordering DRC, where epidemics like Ebola, Crimean Congo, hemorrhagic fever are common, the region suffers disease risk.
We noted that the region is prone to outbreaks. The Ebola outbreak and the COVID-19 outbreak showed us that if we don't attend to outbreaks, we'll not be able to achieve our HIV/TB targets, and therefore we'll never achieve epidemic control in this region. So we decided to expand our work to global health security.
The region also hosts refugee centers and surrounded by national parks, hence need to embark on epidemic prevention measures.
This is yet a mechanism to foster our border mechanisms, coordination with what's happening across the other side, and also strengthen the districts around the border. Information collection, analysis and common response to this.
The center will ease screening, surveillance, contact tracing and evacuation of patients.
Don't just look at these very dangerous diseases and we forget the diseases that we have. So this dashboard should help us to see what is happening in the region, and if there is any problem, then we should be able to.
Well, it's time for us to take a business break and then return with more on News Tonight.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network. We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
As we wind up our bulletin, let's end with a business story. And of course, about 41,000 people in Kampala have been registered and verified to benefit from the Parish Development Model Funds out of the 80,000 that had earlier been identified as most vulnerable, while officiating at the engagement of stakeholders on the state of readiness for the implementation of Parish Development Model at City Hall in Kampala. The Minister for Kampala Metropolitan Affairs, Hajati Mensa Kabanda, said government will not tolerate anybody who intends to frustrate this program. Let's hear more from Farida Namfuka.
The ministerial task force charged with the mandate of sensitizing and changing the mindset of the intended beneficiaries to the Parish Development Model Funds has finalized their public awareness drive on PDM with an engagement of stakeholders about the state of readiness for its implementation in Kampala. Implementers of this program targeted leaders, especially Lord Councillors, who they say need more sensitization, especially on mindset change.
I wonder what plans we have to address the mindset of the key leaders of this city who seem to be aloof, yet we crave to say, abantu bafe abawansi.
With the program being people-centered, Kampala has so far registered 97 circles, 588 enterprises and 41,000 people to benefit from the PDM funds, given the challenge of a transient population.
We are going a long way in
forming what we're going to call a business compendium, because the cost of doing business around Kampala is the same. Once we put in place this compendium, it will be a guide for the beneficiaries to follow.
Kampala Capital City Authority leadership, through the exercise of data collection, has to budget for delivery of services like technical process, business management and financial literacy to the targeted beneficiaries of PDM program.
The role of that committee partly is to assess the applications based on their capacity to pay, based on the feasibility of the business.
KCCA has put in place governance structures, including assistant ward administrators.
Establishing a special issues committee, and we want to task our town clerks to come up with a mechanism that ensures that everything that is coming up as an issue within the parishes is quickly brought to our attention and resolved.
The RCC for Kampala says PDM offers solutions to challenges associated with economic insecurity. However, the Minister for Kampala Metropolitan Affairs, Minsa Kabanda, expressed the need for KCCA technocrats to align all its programs with PDM.
Secure, with only one challenge of economic insecurity. However, that challenge is already secured with the PDM.
That there are some elements amongst us who are out to frustrate this program, politicizing it. This is not politics. My appeal is that we should all know that poverty has no political party. Let us not politicize issues of development.
Kampala leadership urged government to consider it a special area in development programs like PDM, with big population of people Kampala has. I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Kampala.
And with that very story, we end our news tonight at 8. I'll see you again at 10 o'clock. It has been me, Patricia Lukoma Mpango, together with Elizabeth Nakakuni on sign language. Stay with us.
Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, Nga, you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello, is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Are you a young entrepreneur aged 18 to 35 with a startup that is looking for technical, business support, access to international markets, and direct financial support? Hive Collab, in partnership with Cosme, ITC, and Moit and Africa-Uganda, is implementing the Youth Startup Academy in Uganda, YSAU, that will drive growth and scale globalization of Uganda's emerging youth startups. The YSAU is starting up manufacturing and makerspace facilities, mobile app testing and computer labs, and co-working spaces that will provide early-stage startups with access to all equipment they need to build their minimum viable product, access to local and international expert coaches, and more. Applications close on 15th of July. To learn more and apply, visit ysa.hivecollab.org or call 0774 555 999.
I remember the lockdown.
were empty and our lives disrupted. When businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest party of 2022 is here! UBC West MP Kahona launches its Mbarara station on Goat Road in Mbarara City with your favorite entertainer, Echitimburecha UBC West on 23rd July 2022 at Mbarara University Inn. People of Ankole, Chisoro, Kigezi, Toro, Bunyoro, Rwenzori and all parts of Uganda. Do not miss your cocktail of fun with UBC West presenters, listeners and supporters. Come be part of the 2022 biggest party in the land. With top artists, comedians, cultural dancers and ODs, women cyclists in the cycling competition, sports activities and many more from Western and Central Uganda at only 10,000 shillings. Don't miss the annual crowd puller of UBC West MP Kahona, and that is Etitimbure Reigunga. Proudly powered by Pepsi Cola, Delight Solar, and UBC.
For sponsorship and partnership, call 0700-236-415 or 0782-265-827. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Fun is our flavor. When we're together, the vibe is pretty alright. Our taste is pretty awesome. We are Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment. Enjoy Mirinda Fruity, Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment.
Did you know it is mandatory to have all births registered and a birth certificate issued? Failure to do so attracts a penalty of imprisonment or a fine. It's proof of age and belonging to parents, protects and provides children